Welcome back. My name is Steve-O32, the current drummer in my basement. Last week, a bunch of punk bands released a tribute album to Motorhead called Killed by Death. Pennywise, Rancid, The Bronx, Fear. It's honestly a great compilation honoring one of my all-time favorite bands and their frontman, the late, great Lemmy Kilmister. I was 12 when I first discovered Motorhead. I used to stay up way too late watching one of my favorite shows, a British comedy from the 80s called The Young Ones. The show regularly had musical guests on, and in one episode, right in the middle of the story, for no particular reason, they just yell out music and randomly cut to the most badass looking band I had ever seen. Music! Which blew the back off of my 12-year-old head. And that band was Motörhead. And right away I was like, I'm hooked. I am a Motörhead fan. But like a lot of people, for the longest time, I only really knew that one song. And if you're gonna be a band that has one song that everybody loves, that's the song. Then in 1998, Metallica released Garage Inc., which was a double album of covers. Disc 2 had some absolute badass bangers. Overkill, Damage Case, Stone Dead Forever, and Too Late, Too Late. And I remember thinking, those songs are great. I wonder who wrote them. And of course, it turns out it was Motorhead. So I dove in. I picked up a few records, Ace of Spades, Bomber, and my personal favorite, Overkill. Fucking great records. Lemmy got his start in the music business as a roadie for Jimi Hendrix. How about that for your resume? In addition to his roadie duties, his job was to score acid for Jimi. He'd get 10 tabs, give Jimi 7, and keep 3 for himself. All in a day's work. He later joined the British space rock band Hawkwind and even sang lead vocals on their biggest single. While on tour in North America, Lemmy got busted for possession of amphetamines while trying to cross the Canadian border. Sorry about that, eh? And in response to that, and maybe also because of the jealousy of Lemmy singing their biggest single, Hawkwind kicked Lemmy out of the band. So they sent him home from the tour, and in classic Lemmy fashion, he said, "To get back at Hawkwind, I went home and all their girlfriends. Not the ugly ones, but at least 4. Eat that, you bastards." Oh, God, what a legend. The last song that Lemmy recorded with Hawkwind was called Motorhead. So when Lemmy started a new band, he named it Bastard. But somebody pointed out that that might be tricky to get on top of the pops, so they renamed it Motorhead. The original lineup was Lemmy on the bass, Larry Wallace on guitars, and Lucas Fox on the drums. But early on, Larry and Lucas were replaced by Fast Eddie Clark on guitar and Phil Filthy Animal Taylor on the drums to comprise the classic Motorhead lineup. NME once called Motorhead the worst band in the world, a review that aged about as well as Hawkwind's decision to kick Lemmy out of the band. Lemmy himself said if Motorhead moved in next door, your lawn would die. From 1977 until Lemmy's death in 2015, Motorhead toured relentlessly, cycled through a few lineups, and released more than 20 studio albums. When he wasn't touring, Lemmy spent his later years living in Hollywood just down the street from his favorite hangout, the Rainbow Bar and Grill. You could usually find him there sitting at the bar with a drink in his hand, playing digital poker and talking to whoever sat next to him. By all accounts, he was a solid dude, even if he was screwing your girlfriend. After he passed away, the Rainbow Room erected a life-size bronze statue of Lemmy, so in a way, he never really left. Motorhead was one of those rare bands that blurred the invisible lines that sometimes go up between genres. The metalheads loved them, rock and rollers loved them, the punks loved them, so it's fitting that this latest tribute comes from the world of punk rock. The tribute album is called Killed by Death. I have nothing to do with it. It has some awesome covers, but 2 really stand out to me. First one is The Chase is Better Than the Catch, covered by Fear, featuring Mr. Body himself from Clue, leaving on the vocals. And then, of course, Ace of Spades, performed by Pennywise with their guitar player Fletcher on the vocals. I'm sure every band wanted to do Ace of Spades, but Fletcher got the honor. Remember the old Star Wars saying, "Let the Wookiee win." All right, I'm going to play along to Ace of Spades, written by the most rock and roll motherfucker to ever live, and sung by Fletcher from Pennywise, the most punk rock motherfucker that I know.
We are Motorhead, and we play rock and roll.
All right, I just played the song. Go check out Killed by Death. And if you've somehow never gone down the Motorhead rabbit hole, do yourself a favor and check it out, even if your lawn does not survive. Fletcher is an old friend and quite the character, so maybe I'll do a Pennywise video soon. Let me know in the comments. All right, that is going to do it for this one. I want to thank you all so much for watching. My name is Steve-O32. Ikaha, folks. I'm out.